Jugal, Maoists, the biggest threat, as we were saying earlier as well. 79 districts in 9 states. That's quite a large number in terms of just high-risk areas. There are also moderate and low-risk areas, but high-risk 79 districts.
Absolutely, Pierre. In fact, as I said, the categorization has been done in this regard, and so that the EC can focus and channelize its energies better. What has happened is that a categorization has been done on the basis of which Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, Bihar are the states where the most number of severely affected districts, in fact, have been located. After that comes the yellow level or the orange level of districts and states where the threat perception is relatively low, and then there's a yellow level where it's the lowest. However, even if one talks about a certain state, like for example West Bengal being in the lowest category, Uttar Pradesh being in the lowest category, it does not rule out the threat. It only says that of the maximum threat available, this is where it's least available. And the MHA ideally would want the EC to take care of all the 79 districts in one go, so that they know that there is a geographical area that they need to tackle, because we are aware it's been often spoken about as a red corridor from the borders surrounding Uttar Pradesh and Bihar right up to Andhra Pradesh. This is a geographical entity which, if given a chance, the MHA will be well suited to actually ensure the security of in one go itself, because conducting elections is a very complex procedure here. They will have to induct the forces. Many a times these forces may not necessarily be aware of the terrain, the kind of challenges that they will face, and then they also have to de-induct the forces with the election ballot boxes. So it's going to be a difficult and a complex task, and the hope is that if the EC does agree, then it will help a great deal in ensuring that free and fair elections in these areas where they're needed the most. Remember last time in Bastar, when free and fair elections were conducted, more than 75% polling took place. It only goes to show that if in these areas the people are given the assurance of security, they will come out and vote, even beyond areas where there is peace prevailing, because the rates completely surprised everybody last time Bastar had gone to the polls. Yeah.
All right, Jugal, I understand you also spoke to the Director General of the CRPF about his forces mobilization plans ahead of the elections. Here's what he had to say.
Since these are the most difficult phases, if we do them in the first phase and finish with it, the troops are fresh and the whole process is just starting, then there's a lot of enthusiasm amongst everybody. So the ideal would be if you can get to do it in the first phase and get over with it and take on the lesser areas later. So gradually, when the fatigue sets in, we are into areas where not so much of alertness is required amongst the troops.
All right, so the CRPF's decision over there, it seems, is get done with the toughest job first, so that the troops don't have to constantly be on high alert. In fact, experts believe such precautionary measures could even improve voter turnout. We saw a sample of this in Chhattisgarh, where there was record voter turnout in the assembly polls, in part thanks to better security arrangements.
Even in the worst affected, the Bastar division, you had a 70% plus voter turnout, which is far above the average for the country and far above the average that you usually see in entirely peaceable areas. So I think we should, this is now an established model of response as far as elections are concerned, and this is what will happen, obviously.
Going back to Jugal Purohit on this bit of the plan. Jugal, in some senses you want to say that the high voter turnout is because the Maoists are losing their grip on these voters. But the CRPF's plan on tackling the tough areas first also seems to have borne fruit and certainly encouraged people to come out and cast their vote.
Absolutely, Pierre. In fact, I can also share that all of these details which are now being spoken about, all the strategies that are now prepared are actually can be traced back to the elections in Bastar in November last year. Because out there what we saw was that there was an unprecedented level of security which was established. In fact, I was there and I remember seeing forces from Tamil Nadu police, forces from Punjab police, people who have no idea, even though that was perhaps a tactically wrong move to have undertaken. But the presence itself was so intense out there that despite the Maoists actually issuing a diktat against voting, we saw unprecedented amount of polling taking place in areas where there was polling percentage of less than 20-25%. We saw people coming out and voting almost 50, 60, 70%. So Bastar, as I was saying, recorded an unprecedented high amount given which happened, and it did coincide, of course, perhaps by design as well, with the unprecedented amount of security forces presence out there. So the inference is that if you make the people feel secure enough, then they will come to vote, and they will come to vote like they've never done before. So it's based on this model that they are actually planning of a troop surge, as we've just mentioned, that almost 2 lakh plus troops will be deployed. They've already been requisitioned from the 5 paramilitary forces that I just mentioned, and they will be placed in these areas. Now, the only hope that the MHA is now expressing, Pierre, is that the EC should take their concerns into account and ensure that these experiences which emanate from the ground, from statistics, from data that has been available to the authorities, is not thrown about and is actually adhered to, because once that is done is when they will be able to give their best. And if they give their best, then of course we are aware that the kind of situation we saw in Bastar, a great exercise in democracy will take place, and that's the hope that is being expressed by all the parties concerned. But of course the Election Commission has to take a final call on this.